I'm Marin, and this is Post-its and Pens. Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Marin, and here you will find a little beauty, a little books, and a little teaching content. So if that sounds like something you might enjoy, I would love for you to subscribe and stick around and join me in my little corner of YouTube. In today's video, I am going to take you through my Christmas book haul to show you all of the books that I picked up in the month of December that were Christmas presents. So let's go ahead and get into the video. So for this video, I'm basically just going to hold the book up, talk about it just a tiny bit. Some of these I don't actually know a ton about, so I'll read you just a tiny bit from maybe the back or the inside blurb, and then kind of let you know why I picked them up and what I'm hoping to do with them. So let's go ahead and roll into the first book. So the vast majority of these were Christmas presents in that I used either a gift certificate that I was given for Christmas or I requested the specific book. So that's how I picked up the majority of these, but there were a few that I picked up just kind of sporadically as well that I'm also going to go ahead and include in this video since they were Christmas presents to myself, basically. So here we go. The first book that I picked up is My Sergei, a Love Story, which was written by Ekaterina Gordieva. This is a story about the figure skating pair of Gordieva and Grinkov. They won 2 Olympic gold medals, they were married, and Sergei died very unexpectedly of a heart attack at age 28, I believe. So this is basically just a story detailing their life together and things like that. I've always wanted to read this one, and since the Olympics are coming up in February, I figured this would be a great time to pick it up and give it a read. The next book is We Were Liars by E. Lockhart. I have read this book, really loved it. The prequel to this book is coming out later this year, and I decided that I wanted to go ahead and have my own physical copy of this so that I can do a reread before the prequel comes out. So I went ahead and picked this one up as well. And as I had just finished the book Columbine by Dave Cullen, which I will put the cover right here for you, in that book there were like excerpts of the journals that the killers were keeping leading up to the shooting at Columbine High School. And I found this book right here, which is the journals of Dylan Klebold and Eric Harris. And it's the journals in full. The journals were very difficult to read in Columbine because they had been photocopied a lot, and the boys' handwriting is not great. So this one, what I like is that it has the actual journal entry here, and then it also has it rewritten right here so that you can actually read it. I am kind of fascinated with true crime. That's kind of like one of my interests, if you will. I watch a lot of forensic files, things like that. So I wanted to go ahead and give this one a read just to kind of see exactly what they were writing, because a lot has been said about the fact that there were signs and things that people just didn't pick up on, and I think the journals are a good place to start with that. So that is why I picked this one up as well. The next set of these I picked up with a gift card from my aunt and uncle to Barnes & Noble, so that is how I picked up these next few. So the first one that I picked up with that gift card is Aurora's End by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. Full disclosure, I have not read any of this series, but I own the first 2 books, so went ahead and picked up the third as well. Hopefully I can give this whole series a read at some point this year, but that's why I went ahead and picked this one up, just to finish out the trilogy on my shelves, and then hopefully I will actually enjoy it. Otherwise, all 3 are going to wind up getting unhauled. So we'll just cross our fingers that this was not a waste of money. The next one that I picked up from Barnes & Noble is Lovely War by Julie Berry. I have heard really, really good things about this one. It is basically a romance, and it's told from the point of view of Aphrodite. So if you put Greek gods in anything, I'm probably going to pick it up. But I've also heard that everyone who's read this really, really loved it. So I'm very excited to finally give this one a read and see what the buzz is all about. The next one that I had picked up with that Barnes & Noble gift card is The Glacier by Kim Liggett. Now, this one is a YA thriller, and I don't typically spend money on thrillers because once you read them once, they lose their thrill, but this one does sound very interesting. It was actually discounted pretty heavily when I picked this one up, so I went ahead and added it on. But it says, no one speaks of the Glacier, it's forbidden. In Garner County, girls are banished for their 16th year to release their magic into the wild so they can return purified and ready for marriage. But not all of them will make it home alive. So it just sounds very, very interesting. It's been on my TBR for a while, and I decided, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and pick it up and hope that I enjoy it. The next book that I had picked up was The Sea of Tranquility by Katya Millet. This came out a very long time ago. Let me actually get the publishing year. I want to say 2013, 2012, 2013. I had an arc of this way back when and didn't read it, but those who did read it loved it. So this is a romance. It says, I live in a world without magic or miracles, a place where there are no clairvoyants or shapeshifters, no angels or superhuman boys to save you, a place where people die and music disintegrates and things suck. I am pressed so hard against the earth by the weight of reality that some days I wonder how I am still able to lift my feet to walk. So basically, it's a romance. But it says it's a rich, intense, and brilliantly imagined story about a lonely boy, an emotionally fragile girl, and the miracle of second chances. So as I'd mentioned, this got really good reviews when it was released, so I went ahead and picked this one up just to have a physical copy. I did still have the e-arc from NetGalley because if you put those on your Kindle, they don't expire. But it was really horribly formatted, so I decided I'd go ahead and pick up the book and actually hopefully give this a read this year. The second to last book that I got with that Barnes & Noble gift card is The Way I Used to Be by Amber Smith. This is a story of a girl who I believe is sexually assaulted and then doesn't talk about it, like doesn't tell anyone. So it's kind of similar to Speak by Lori Halls Anderson. Yeah, that's what it says. Teens will be reminded of Speak. So basically this is told in 4 parts, freshman, sophomore, junior, and senior year, and basically it's just going through her life and what she's dealing with. But this again has been on my TBR for a while and I decided to go ahead and pick it up. I think it's probably going to be a really good read, just like I felt Speak was, so hopefully this one will be the same. And the last book that I picked up from Barnes & Noble is Tribute by Nora Roberts. I'm a big Nora Roberts fan. I've read a lot of her romance books, not recent ones though. I kind of fell out of the habit of reading her books, although she is a favorite, but this one's been on my TBR for a little while and I decided to go ahead and pick it up. This one, let's see. It says a young woman gets caught up in the secrets and shadows of a big screen legend and a small town scandal. So, yeah. Basically, anything by Nora Roberts is probably going to be good, so I figured this was not too much of a gamble. Now we're going to turn to the books that I picked up for myself while I was at Target. So the first one that I picked up is The Warsaw Orphan. This is written by Kelly Rimmer, and this is it's about World War II, the Warsaw Ghetto during World War II. I believe the main character, yeah, she basically smuggles people out of the Warsaw Ghetto and attempts to get them to safety, basically children. She smuggles the children out. I'm a big fan of anything to do with World War II. Historical fiction is a favorite of mine, so this one sounds very good and right up my alley. The next one that I had picked up from that same Target run is Dark and Shallow Lies by Ginny Myers Sane. This one just sounds very interesting. So it says, La Cache, Louisiana is the worst place to be if you have something to hide. This tiny town where 17-year-old Gray spends her summers is the self-proclaimed psychic capital of the world, and the place where Aurora Pellerin, Gray's best friend, disappeared 6 months earlier. So again, thriller, mystery. I found out when I added this to my Goodreads that it's part of a series, which I don't love, but yeah, still very excited to read this one because it sounds like it's going to be very, very good. Hey, the next one that I had picked up from Target is The Road Trip by Beth O'Leary. This is basically two people who used to be together. They broke up and now they're stuck in a car on the way to a wedding. So yeah, I'm kind of curious to see what I think about this. I've never read anything by Beth O'Leary, but I've heard that she's a favorite and some people really enjoyed this book in particular. So yeah, I'm excited to give it a read and see what I think. And the last one that I picked up from Target is another World War II inspired book. This one is called Liberation, a Novel, and it was written by Imogen Keeley. So this one says, to the Allies, she was a fearless freedom fighter, a special operations legend, a woman ahead of her time. To the Gestapo, she was a ghost, a shadow, the most wanted person in the world. So basically it tells the true story of a female spy, I believe. I don't think she's a pilot. I think she's a spy. I just read Codename Verity, which was kind of in the same vein. Really, really loved that one. So I'm very excited to give this one a read. As I mentioned, World War II historical fiction is kind of my jam. So this one sounds like it's going to be very, very good. Now we're going to turn our attention to the books that I got on Christmas from my mom and my stepdad. So I picked up, well, I requested, I didn't pick up. I asked for 3 classics that are part of this. I think they're Penguin, I don't remember, like Penguin collection or something like this. So the first one is The Adventures of Robin Hood by Roger Lancelyn Green. The second one is The Secret Garden by Frances Hodgson Burnett. And then the last one is Anne of Green Gables by L.M. Montgomery. But as you can see, they all have this same kind of cover style. Oh, it's a Puffin Classic. It's what it says on the back, Puffin Classic. So I really, really love how these look on my shelf. I have a couple others in this same collection, and I kind of want to collect all of them that I'm interested in reading just because I think they're pretty neat looking, particularly the spines. So that's literally the only reason I picked these up. Anne of Green Gables is on my 22 books to read in 2022 list. So, you know, at least that one will get read this year, if not the other 2. Another set of books that I requested was the Howl's Moving Castle series by Diana Wynne Jones. So it has Howl's Moving Castle, it has Castle in the Air, and then the third book, which is House of Many Ways. This is House of Many Ways is the one that I still need to read. I've read the other 2, but I really enjoy this series, so I decided I'd go ahead and pick up the whole trilogy just to have them on my shelves for whenever I might want to reread. The next book that I had asked for and received was actually because Riley Marie read it in a reading vlog like ages ago and really enjoyed it. And that is The Surviving Trace by Kalia Reed, I'm not sure. This one is basically, it's time travel, but not really. So it says, Will is my fiance, the shy man I met years ago in college, the person I'm supposed to spend the rest of my life with. This is the life I've always wanted until finding a picture of 4 men changes everything. Etienne says he's my husband, and the year is 1912. He can't stand the sight of me, but I don't know why. Oh, and he's one of the men from the picture. I've done the impossible and have become trapped in time, and I know Etienne is my key to going home. The more time I spend with Etienne, the further I fall for him until I'm questioning which time I belong in and if the life I left behind is the one I truly desire. All I know for certain is I need to survive time. I need to survive love, and I need to make it out on the other side alive. So that just sounds interesting. She really enjoyed this one, so I added it to my to-read list, and hopefully we'll give it a read this year. It is part of a series. I think there's 3 of them, but yeah, we'll see how I get on with the first one. The next two books are a series. It's a duology. So the first one is Eon by Allison Goodman, and then the sequel to that is Eona, also by Allison Goodman. This is a fantasy series that has to do with dragon riders, I believe. It says, for years, Eon's life has been focused on magical study and sword work with one goal, that he be chosen as a dragon eye and apprenticed to one of the 12 energy dragons of good fortune. But Eon has a dangerous secret. He is actually Eona, a 16-year-old girl who has been masquerading as a 12-year-old boy. Females are forbidden to use dragon magic. The penalty is death. So this is the first one. This is the second one. This one is on my 22 books to read in 2022 list, and hopefully I will love it because I do have the sequel as well. So we'll see. And the last book on this haul, the last book of this haul, is the last book that I got for Christmas, which is the first 21, How I Became Nikki Sixx, which was written by Nikki Sixx, who is the bass player for the hard rock band Motley Crue. Hair band, hard rock band, you get my gist. So I have read his previous two books and really enjoyed them. So of course I had to pick this one up as well. I'm excited to give it a read. This one I believe is going to talk about his childhood. And yeah, he did talk a little bit about that in the Heroine Diaries, which came out a really long time ago and was the first book that I read by him. So we did chat a little bit about that in his journal entries, but this one is probably going to be focused completely on his childhood. So I am curious to learn a little bit more about how he grew up, although I do know a bit because I'm kind of a Nikki Sixx fan, if you will. So yep, that is the last one that I got for Christmas. So that is the end of this 23 book haul for the month of December, basically. Books that I either picked up on my own, but most of them were Christmas gifts in some form or fashion. So I hope you enjoyed taking a look at some of my new to me books. Let me know if you've read any of these. Feel free to comment down below and tell me what you thought about them. And if you enjoyed this video, please leave me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel if you would like to see more, and I will see you in my next video. Bye, everyone.